so the waiting room has calmed down, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Just a reminder, if you haven't already, do take a minute to complete that Google form that's in the chat. That's how we're going to be able to track that you attended today and to follow up with the post-event with resources, including the slide deck. So we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Larissa Bates. I am the career counselor for business, financial services, and logistics. And I'm super excited to be here along with Elaine, who will have introduced herself, to talk about exploring careers in hospitality, tourism, and event management. So hopefully you're all in the right place. Elaine, I'm going to kick it over to you to introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. So glad that you're here today. My name's Elaine Lay, pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm an academic advisor in the Jack Holland Student Success Center. So that's the primary advising center for business students or students who are interested in business. And I'm here with Larissa today to help you all in exploring different careers. And we know that there are some shifts going on in the hospitality program in the upcoming year. So we're all in this together, and we'll go ahead and get started now.
All right, just a few rules. Again, if you can complete that form in the Google chat, if you hadn't, that's how we're able to confirm that you were here today and actually follow up with resources. If you have any questions throughout the event, as Elaine mentioned, we're here to support you. So go ahead and throw those in the chat and we'll address them when possible. And we'll also have some set Q&A time at the very end of the event. So if you want to stick around, we'll address those at the end as time allots. And we do ask that you stay on mute for both audio and video unless prompted otherwise, which we will allow you to do during the Q&A portion. All right, so who we are representing today is both the Career Center and the Jack Holland Student Success Center, which is under the Lucas College of Business. So for the Career Center, we are here to support you with all of the needs that you need to be successful in your career journey. So that might be career counseling 101 with a career counselor such as myself, for job internship search help, resume, interviewing tips, pretty much any topic you can imagine around launching your career successfully, we are here to support you with. A lot of students don't know that we help with exploring majors and careers, which is actually why I'm here today to talk about some of the ways that you can explore careers in hospitality, tourism, and event management. We also offer career apps, peer-to-peer coaching, and workshops and events such as this to help you get connected to employers and also get foundational career knowledge. And I'll pass it over to Elaine to introduce herself.
All right, so over in the Jack Holland Student Success Center, we help out business students with many different services such as academic advising, so helping students plan out their courses and their pathways to graduation. If you're considering changing your major into business or into any of our concentrations, which some of you might be considering doing in the fall semester, we can help you out with that. We also have tutoring specifically for business requirements. We have peer leaders, so current business students that you can get connected with if you wanted to build those networks and gain some insights on how to succeed here at San Jose State. And then we also have advising workshops and events, just like this one that you're currently attending. In order to access the Jack Holland Student Success Center, you can go to our website. We're basically here to help you with anything and everything that you can think of for the most part. So again, if you have questions on academic advising, so courses to take, if you're thinking about changing your major or getting into a business concentration, peer leaders, workshops, and tutoring as mentioned, all of this you can find on our website. And the link is here. If you've signed in on the Google form, we'll be sending you a follow-up email with these slides. So don't worry about taking notes right now. Everything's going to be in the email. And if you forget, you can even type in our acronym followed by SJSU in Google and we'll be the first hit. Also, if you wanted to get connected to career resources or even get connected to Larissa, we have a button on our website as well. And Larissa's hovering her cursor over there right now. So if you're ever lost and you don't know where to go, bookmark our homepage because that's where you can access all of our services and get help with whatever questions you have.
Awesome. So Elaine is your resource for academic advising. I'm your resource for career questions that you may have for your journeys. Just want you to be aware of how to get connected with us. So for me, I do, as I mentioned earlier, offer one-on-one appointments. So if there are questions that maybe you don't feel comfortable asking in front of the group that are specific to your career journey, you can definitely reach out to me. Either by email or Spartan Connect, which is our advising platform where you can connect with your academic advisor. But our career folks are also on there. So if you'd like to meet with us, that's where you would find us. All right, another great resource that you might want to bookmark is our Career Center websites. Similar to Elaine's Jack Holland Student Success Center website, there's lots of information that's on here. These are the 3 core areas that we provide services in. Explore, which you are doing today, but just know that there's some steps beyond that, such as like actually building experience to launch your career and all the resources that you need, such as your resume, cover letter, interview tips to actually launch your career. So you can visit our website to find those resources. All right, so that brings us to our agenda for today. So we will be going into a little bit of talk about concentration versus major. We'll talk about some strategies, how you can look at careers in hospitality. As Elaine mentioned, we do know that the industry is facing some challenges right now with the current health and economic crisis. So we'll talk about some other opportunities. My dogs have decided they want to play right now, so I apologize if that's coming through. Then we'll dive into some resources that may be helpful for you. And then at the end, we'll follow up with Q&A. But as I mentioned, if you have questions at any point during the presentation, Ellen and I will be switching off. So we'll be monitoring that and try to address your questions as soon as possible. All right, so some of you might be thinking, we do know that there are some changes to hospitality and that you will be joining the business department going forward. So I believe those are going to be admitted for fall 2021 are going to have the business administration with a concentration in hospitality as their degree. Those of you who are already in hospitality or maybe switching into hospitality this semester, you will have the option to take that concentration, or you can stay with your current hospitality degree or the current options. So if you do decide to switch to business administration, just a little bit of an overview of how those degrees work is that they all have a set foundation of core courses that are in different areas of business. So our management, our finance, accounting concentrations, they all take courses in management, leadership, marketing, finance, accounting, right? They all take those general introduction courses in different areas of business. And then the concentration is a little bit of specific coursework in an area of business. So this is where that hospitality concentration is going to come in, where, you know, either 22 to 15%, some sort of variance there is going to be hospitality focused if you decide to switch to the business administration degree. Okay, so just want to do like a little overview as to what the changes might be looking like in that area going forward. Both are super valuable. Both are going to get you really good skills. And the hospitality degree has a lot of similarities with the business administration degrees in that there are kind of core courses. Obviously, those are more specific to like, you know, management and hospitality, like finance and hospitality, right? Budgeting for hospitality, they're kind of specific to that area, but those have a lot of overlap with the general business classes already. So it will be comparable. All right, and I'm gonna let Elaine add to that as far as advising.
Mm-hmm. Now, if you are thinking about switching into business, I know many of you, you're probably already hospitality, or maybe you're thinking, you know, come fall, you think that you might want to switch over to business admin degree with a concentration in hospitality. There are some key points to think about. If you're still early in your education career, like let's say maybe you're in your first year, second year, so freshman or sophomore standing, you still have the option to consider if maybe you want to switch into a different concentration, such as management, human resource, or maybe even something completely different, and you just came here to get some help with that. Some things you want to know is that we do have 13 concentrations within business. Starting fall, we'll have 14 because we'll have hospitality management. You want to keep in mind that although, like Larissa was talking about, much of your foundation is going to be the same when it comes to GEs and business core classes, when it comes to that extra about 22% of concentration coursework, only some of the concentrations have overlap. So let's say you've been really going on track with, let's just say we have an accounting student here and you're really on track for that. You just have maybe 5 classes or less to graduate. You might want to stick with that instead of switching into something very different, such as management, because your previous coursework, it might not carry over, especially for the concentration. If you're thinking about exploring what we have to offer, I recommend first looking at our advising guides on our website so that you can compare the different coursework and curriculum. You can even look up the different programs and degrees in our catalog simply by doing a Google search, and that will give you descriptions of the coursework that is required and give you a good idea of what might interest you and what would fit with your strengths and overall your career goals, what you really want to do and what you want to get out of your education here. After you've considered some options that you're interested in, go to our change of major webpage to read about the different requirements, because there are eligibility criteria to declare each specific concentration. Once you've gathered all of that information, you can come to Drop-in Advising to get initial consultation with a business advisor, and we'll help you create a plan for success. Now, let's say you're currently in a different major and you're loving it and you want to just stick with that. You could consider picking up a business minor, and that would include 5 potential extra classes, so 15 units. For the business minor, it's required to take survey of accounting, and this one is specifically designed for business minors. So it's not quite as rigorous as the regular accounting courses required of business majors. Also Business 3-160, so fundamentals of management, that's basically our intro management course, and then 3 more business courses. So this is something that you can consider. Specifically, if you're sticking to a hospitality major, then you could still potentially pursue the business minor. But if come next semester, you're switching to business admin with a concentration in hospitality, then you would not be able to pursue the business minor because the requirements are already built into the major. All right, and if you have questions about that because it's confusing, don't worry. You can reach out to me. You can come to Drop-in. I'd be glad to talk about that with you. But if it's something that is of interest to you and it fits with where you're at, all you need to know is that you can go to our website to review the criteria and then talk with an advisor. It's that easy. There's no paperwork required, and we make it really streamlined for students.
Awesome. Really great option for those of you who maybe are too far to switch your major at this point, but maybe want to get some additional coursework in different business areas. I will just talk about this briefly. Hospitality has some different professional organizations. We highly recommend that you get involved with student and campus organizations to get connected with industry. So a lot of these student orgs will have alumni or industry professionals come back and talk about their journeys, how they were able to get into their careers, especially during this current time. Having that sense of community might be helpful for you in your career journey. So highly encourage you to check out these hospitality ones. And then also under business, we have the Advisement Institute for Management, which is just general leadership management in business, but highly would encourage you all to check that out if that is an area of interest. And there's tons of different other College of Business orgs. You can definitely join ones that you're interested in if it's beyond these, but I would encourage you all to check that out. All right, so what are some of the pathways in hospitality, tourism, and event management? So obviously during this time, things have kind of shifted, but as of 2019, these were kind of the core areas that were projected to grow. So marketing and promotions, so people who are either building marketing campaigns or promoting specific events. They're looking at about 18,000 new jobs being added in that area. Public relations specialists, these work for companies typically, and represent them, either to like media or other industry professionals. Typically, they write a lot of press releases, or they might be, representing that company. If they're in the news, right, they would be the one doing the interview. And these roles are projected to grow in at about 19,000 jobs. And then the last area is meeting, event planner. This could be either corporate, so within a large corporation, or also kind of independent. These jobs were also expected to grow 8% and add about 10,000 new jobs. So obviously with COVID, we don't quite know what the long-term impact is going to be quite yet at this point. We do know that postings in general in some of these areas are down. However, there are still opportunities that are out there. And what you might need to do in this current climate is think about what are some of the skills that you can build in adjacent roles for now until the hospitality, tourism, event management areas are able to recover and rebuild. So let's take a look at that. And first, I would just like to know, what are some of the careers that you all have heard of? So as I mentioned at the beginning, there would be times where we welcome you unmuting yourself, or turning on your cameras, using the chat. And this is one of those times. So feel free. What are some of the careers that you all have heard of that are related to hospitality, tourism, or event management? See if you all are paying attention.
I
So
have seen, oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Um, I have seen managing a, a hotel, I think.
Yeah, hotel manager, definitely. What else? Let me just make sure that I have the chat open. What about like an office manager? What are some other things that we have heard of as far as careers? Wedding planners, absolutely. Restaurant managers. Oops, if I can spell correctly today. There we go. All right, let me just check. All right, so it seems like we've heard about a few things, but there's probably a lot of other things that are out there that we maybe haven't heard about. So we'll talk about some of those maybe adjacent careers that you can also explore to maybe build some skill sets while we're waiting for some of these roles to kind of have more opportunities. As we know, hotel, restaurant, wedding industry, these are all really big typical hospitality industries, but they have all been significantly impacted with COVID and the current health crisis. So we'll talk about some of the ways that you can maybe explore things that are going to get you skill sets to go into those areas long term, while we're kind of waiting for those industries to have more abundant opportunities at this time. All right, so this information is all coming from LinkedIn. So I'll show you all in a little bit how you can find this information online and actually, do some research on the data set. But what we do see from that is that people that are in hospitality are actually working in business, right? They're working in different areas of business. So we can take a look at some of those other areas of business that you can still work in, that there's still lots of opportunities in during this time. And then you can take those skills and transition into hospitality for the long term if you're not able to get into a job or internship opportunity right now. So we do see that a lot of folks tend to have some sort of marketing aspect to their role, or sales, or operations. So when you're thinking about what are some of the things that you might want to explore in addition to, you know, the traditional wedding planning, event management, right? You might want to look at roles that fall under those areas. So some ideas might be recruiter. So this is definitely more in like operations, HR, human resources, might be a great kind of point to build some of those people skills, working with others in a company, customer service skills as well there. There's also customer success. Typically what these people do at a company is they have different clients that they are managing, and helping them understand whatever tool or service that your company provides and utilizing it to accomplish whatever goals that client wants to achieve. So for example, a customer success manager at, like, we'll just say a tech company such as Cisco, they might be working with a specific client that has implemented some of Cisco's software and helping them to understand, you know, how does that software work? Maybe what are some of the things that they can do with it? And that person might not be like super technical, right? They might not be the ones programming the software, but they know where to look and they know who to ask to get the answers to the questions that that client needs to be successful. Okay, so that is one area, and that definitely would translate back to hospitality, right? Being able to provide services effectively, support customers, all of that's still going to be relevant skills for your long-term goals. There's also executive or administrative assistants. This is a great entry-level position to get exposure in a business setting. You learn lots of different skills from managing calendars. You might also be managing small scale events, especially as an executive assistant. You might have to help your CEO or CFO, whoever that executive is, you know, bring in high level guests and make sure that they're, you know, treated well while they're in town, things like that. So definitely some customer service, customer focus skills that you would be getting from that role. So I'm not going to go through all of these, but just to kind of give you some ideas as to things that are adjacent to hospitality, building the same skill sets that are still going to be valuable in HTEM, but are maybe not necessarily having to be in like a hotel or working for a tourism agency or anything like that at this point, right? But long term. Some sample companies, I'm not sure why Google's on here twice, but Google, Apple, VMware, these are companies that do kind of the corporate events management. So like managing events, but like internal for your employees. So I think there was like a wellness challenge that went out from our HR department not too long ago, where they were challenging Spartans to, you know, exercise weekly, right? Those might be things that like a corporate event manager at like some of these tech companies might, you know, think of and, you know, execute for their employees. VMware, SAP, Marriott, Bon Appetit, those are maybe some more tech companies, and then also things that are, you know, more typical to hospitality and tourism and event management. Okay. So again, all of this information is coming from LinkedIn. I'll show you how to find this online and how maybe if any of these job titles that we've discussed interest you, how you can use Handshake to do a little bit deeper dive on the actual job descriptions, the skills needed, and to see if it's a good fit for you or not. All right. I am going to come back to that slide after we take a look at LinkedIn. So this is a great opportunity. If you have a LinkedIn account, if you want to follow along with me, you're more than welcome to. I'm just going to switch over to a live view of my account. So hopefully you're all there with me. And then I'm going to search for San Jose State in this top left search bar. And I'm just going to make sure that I select a school. And then it will open up the university page so I can follow this. I can see, information about the university if I'm interested. But what's most important for our conversation today is the alumni section. So on here, there is data that is aggregated. So anyone that puts on their profile that they attended San Jose State University gets connected to this alumni page. So from this, I can see data about, where folks live, where are they working, what they do, what they studied, what skills they have. And some of these, as you can see, there's like a little add button at the top. That just means that that is something that I can filter by. So for example, if I want to see, folks that studied hospitality, where did they end up? I can add a filter for that. And now I can see what are some of the top employers that folks have pursued. What are some of the top areas that they're working in? And what are some of the top skills that they have? And then if I was curious, I can actually scroll down and now I will start to see profiles. So as you can see, this doesn't work like 100% accurately. So like this person's global studies, but they probably have some sort of like hospitality work on their profile at some point, or they maybe did like a certification. So it doesn't work like 100% accurately, but it works accurately enough where it'll get you some of the information that you might be curious about. So for any of these folks, if I'm interested in learning more about who they are, what they do, I can actually click on their profile and see, their journey, right? Where did they go? Where are they now? Maybe what are some of the internships that they have been doing? What are some of the companies that maybe they've worked at that I might want to explore? So I can use this to kind of do foundational kind of information gathering. So for example, this person is working in human resources. If I was interested in that path from my degree, I might want to look and see, did this person do any internships? If so, where did they do them? Is that company hiring at this point? Would I be able to maybe, look into that opportunity? What are some of the other companies that they've worked at? Are they currently recruiting? What exactly is this role, right? So I know where this person is working. I know what their job title is. If I want, I could probably Google, human resources generalist and get a general overview of what that position is. But if I wanted to, I could also connect with this person, right? I could reach out and send them a message and say, hey, I see that you are also a fellow Spartan. And I would love to have a 10 to 15 minute conversation with you about your career, right? And you can talk with them if they're interested in connecting with you and learn more about their job that way as well. So lots of great opportunities from LinkedIn to either like gather information about different pathways or to also start making connections, right? Because we do know the power of networking is very important too, especially during economic downturns to, start to talk to people, make connections, because we do know about 80% of opportunities actually come from not what you know, but who you know. So this is one way that you can kind of work on both. So something else that you might also want to consider is once you have a couple job titles that you have in mind, you might actually want to look on Handshake. So this is our job and internship database. You can just Google SJSU Handshake and it'll come up. Let me switch over to my student account. All right, so this will look a little bit more familiar for you all. So what I can now do, so if I saw like, hey, that customer success manager position seemed pretty interesting to me. Maybe I want to learn more about like, what do people in customer success do? I can start looking for opportunities in that area. Maybe I want to look at an internship, okay, because I'm just trying to break into this area. And now I can look and see like, what are some of the skills and knowledge areas that they're looking for. So for this one, right, they want people that can think creatively, problem solve, have strong interpersonal skills, leadership, right, written verbal communication. Probably looking at this, I'm like, okay, these are things that I've learned from my hospitality degree. Absolutely. I could totally do this internship. And then maybe I'm also thinking about like, is this something that's interesting to me? Like, are there going to be skills that I would develop in this role that I can take if I want to go work for, an airline in the future? Definitely. I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of customer service here, being able to, tell effective stories and problem solve. So that might be a good kind of entry level, start for me that I can still be working towards my long-term goal from. So again, if there's other of those like titles that we discussed that you're interested in, I would definitely recommend, getting on Handshake or another job board and actually starting to look at positions and see what the requirements are, what the role is like, and analyzing if it's a good fit for you or not. All right, so that is Handshake. And just a reminder, if you have questions, do feel free to throw those in the chat. As I mentioned, we would be monitoring that. So if there are questions that come up as we're talking, we'll try to address those as soon as we can. All right, so I just wanted to reflect on this for you all. I did talk about, thinking about some of the skills that are going to translate long term, but I would also encourage you to think about the skills that you're getting from your degree that are going to translate into future careers or internships. So again, if you completed that Google form that's in the chat, you'll get a copy of this slide deck, but these are actually the top 8 skills that employers seek in new hires fresh out of college. So you can probably reflect on a couple of these, like teamwork. If you've had any group projects, I know how much you all love those in your coursework, but those are actually skills that you're going to need to have to be successful in most roles in your professional life. Also the global intercultural fluency, definitely being in a major that is focused on providing quality experiences from people all around the globe is definitely going to help you shine in that area as well. And you can probably reflect on several of these other ones as well, things that you're getting from your coursework that are going to make you a strong candidate. So just because hospitality right now is not necessarily, the most bustling industry does not mean that it's going to be that way forever. It's definitely projected to rebound. But in the meantime, thinking about the skills that you do have from your studies that are still going to help you be a strong candidate for a starting position to get you to your long-term goal. All right, so I already did the LinkedIn and Handshake demo. That's just a slide to kind of help you navigate those to find opportunities. Just in case you're interested, I did mention networking is very important, especially when the job market is very, very competitive, right? Having someone that's already on the inside that can basically say like, this person is a really good candidate, you should review their application, can definitely be helpful. So LinkedIn, as I showed you, is a great way to find alumni that you can connect with. We do also have a platform that's exclusive to San Jose State, where we already have alumni and other professionals that have volunteered specifically to help students with career success. So you might want to check that out as well. And both of these, this is a guide that's linked. There's information on how to use these platforms under the conducting an informational interview section if you're curious about that. All right, so that is a lot for me. So now I'm going to pass it back over to Elaine to talk about advising for the hospitality degree and kind of what to expect in the next couple of months.
Yes, so a common theme of this workshop is just how like we're dealing with so much change, right? And coming next semester, there's going to be some changes to your potential program as well. But what you need to know as of today is that if you're currently declared in hospitality and you have any questions about your major and what's needed, then you would go and talk to an advisor over in the current hospitality department. And the link is on this slide. If you have any questions about GEs, so any general education requirements, you would still continue to go to the College of Health and Human Sciences Student Success Center. So as of today, continue going to the same advisors that you have been with any questions that you have if you are currently in hospitality. Now, if you are hospitality, you think you're going to stay with that and you want to do a business minor, or if you're in hospitality, but you're thinking, I want to switch to business admin with a concentration in hospitality, then I recommend you come meet with a business advisor. And I have more information on the next slide. So yes, if you have any questions about the business admin degrees, including the upcoming business admin with a concentration in hospitality, or the business minor, come talk to us in the Jack Holland Student Success Center, and our link is on this page as well. We know that fall registration, it's happening a little bit later this semester actually, right? We used to have it happen around like March, April, but now it's been extended and most students will begin registering in May. So by that point, we'll get more clarity about what your curriculum is going to look like and who to best go to for advising. But as of today, if you have any questions, use these slides as your guide on who to go to. And if you end up in the wrong place, that's okay. We'll help point you in the right direction. All right, now for some students, let's say that you're getting ready to complete your time here at San Jose State, or maybe not, maybe you're considering what's going to happen after. Given the current economic climate and just in general, if you want to maximize your opportunities after graduating, I highly recommend plan to apply not only to jobs, but also to graduate school, because that really increases the types of opportunities you have right out of undergrad. So if you're considering a graduate program, I would highly recommend considering the Lucas Graduate School of Business here at San Jose State. We offer many different masters in business, and the one that I specifically wanted to highlight to you all is the Early Career MBA. So this program here is very unique because most of the MBA programs, so Masters in Business Admin, most of those programs across the nation require that you have at least 5 years of industry experience. So 5 years working as a business professional. But here at San Jose State, we have the option where if you want to get an MBA, you've been working, but you've been working less than 5 years, you can still apply. So this is a very great and unique option, especially if you don't have a business degree. The program will accept you. There are different requirements you do have to meet though. So certain undergraduate prerequisites, GPA, letters of rec, and so forth. And you can find out more information by going to their website, which is linked on this slide. And what's also great is that you can email the program as well. And they just started accepting appointments for advising. So I highly recommend if you're considering or you're not really sure, come and meet with them. I've talked with some students who are really setting their sights on graduate school, and they went to advising, and they said it was very helpful in understanding what the requirements are, as well as getting individual questions answered specific to their case and their course history. Larissa's also provided a link here. So if you're like, oh my goodness, how do I apply to graduate school? What are some tips on that? There's a how to apply to graduate school guide linked here. So if you have any questions on where to start, this guide will help give you a direction.
And there is a question in the chat about being accepted to the early career MBA with a minor in business but no experience. And I believe that is a possibility, right? Because a business degree is not required, nor is industry experience. So I would encourage you to connect with the advisors over at the Lucas Graduate School, either via email or for an appointment, and they can definitely kind of go through those requirements with you and how you're able to kind of meet them if you're kind of concerned about that.
Yeah, that's good advice. And that is true. If you have a minor in business, even better, that's good to have that foundation for yourself. And there are certain prerequisite courses, which you can find out more on the website. Like I know they do require some level of economics as well as statistics, but definitely, as Larissa was saying, make an appointment to talk with the graduate school advisors and get more information on what's going to make you competitive and eligible as a candidate.
Yeah, and I believe most programs require like some sort of econ class as well as some sort of statistics. So it is possible that you kind of even met those as well, but definitely contact them as soon as possible if you are considering this as a pathway.